All right, guys, welcome to another edition, our second episode of Deer Camp with the Lindseys, live deer report, weekly deer forecast. We're coming to you live Wednesday, September the 10th from northern Kentucky. We got here 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we caught the last of that 3-day cool front that came in, and Big D, first sit ever in Kentucky, been in the stand 3 hours. We're here with our boys with homegrown experience. Super cool guys, super good guys, and right out of the gate, we have started the 2025 season off with an absolute bang. He shoots a slammer of a buck, a big 9-point with a kicker off his base, full velvet, white velvet, not your first ever full velvet buck, but your first ever velvet buck that still had it by the time you went over and got your hands on him, I guess.
Yep, that's right.
A big deer.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be able to let you back, buddy. You just roll up first time in Kentucky and smoke a biggin.
Hey, what can I say?
Yeah, meanwhile, I was sitting there watching does and spikes all weekend.
Yeah, so was Jeff.
Yeah, I haven't seen nothing bigger than a 6-point yet in 2 nights. But, you know, these guys up here, they have them pretty dialed in. You know, when we get here, we're looking at pictures. They're kind of talking about where we're going to hunt. They had an awesome weekend. They killed a hammer. Glenn killed a Big 10 Saturday night, full velvet. Dane, EH Dane, killed one Sunday night. Hit it just touch back. They found him later that night. Big 8-point with kickers off his base, super massive. I don't know if it's all the rain they've had, spring, early summer, but every one of these deer are super heavy this year, really massive. And, you know, their deer are a little behind everywhere else on velvet, which makes it's kind of a double-edged sword. You're getting about half of the deer still in velvet, so you got some pretty predictability, but you got the other half coming out and testosterone going up, and they're swapping spots around, a little more unpredictable. But Dave's deer velvet was pretty tight. It had a couple little spots in it, but it looked really good.
I mean, I was there this weekend. I was watching them every night. Another buck was shed out. I mean, at this point, I think 70% of our deer shed out. So you're only an hour and a half away.
Yeah, you know, talking last week, we didn't. They said like 5% of their bucks were out, and we were like 50% in Iowa and Georgia and Illinois, we felt like. And then like 2 days later, you text me that morning on Friday, like, dude, so many bucks shed last night. And then Brandon Potts over here texts me, he's like, dude, you won't believe it. Last night, full moon, a lot of deer came out of velvet. So it's just funny how that works, you know, across the state. It's like something triggers. It's probably that cool front coming in, but they knew they had to get that velvet off. And they still got a fair amount of bucks, like I say, in velvet. I'm hunting one tonight that came out of velvet last night or 2 nights ago. They call him Boss Hog. They got a farm where I've shot my last 2 bucks, and that's where Dave shot his buck Monday night, and I'm going back there tonight to hunt a deer they call Boss Hog. They named all the deer on that farm this year Dukes of Hazzard theme, and so he shot. Your deer was called Bo?
Oh, maybe it was Bo. I was thinking
Bo, and then last night I hunted a deer called Luke. He didn't show. Last night was a little tougher hunt, but tonight I'm going after Boss Hog. So he's a Big 10, shorter G3 on one side. But let's get into the hunt a little bit. You know, I can tell you Monday night, my first sit ever felt surreal. It was fairly cool. The wind was good. You know, a lot cooler than where I've been in Georgia, and you know, a lot of does. The does were coming out, and I really thought it was going to happen because you know, early season you're allowed to get that one doe that knows something's not right. The wind's swirling, anything can happen, but it was good. I was like, it's going to happen for us. And then where I was at, the 2 deer we had been hunting were very consistent, but they did not show. But across the field, Dave, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, what was your secret sauce, man? Like, if he and I are seeing spikes and does, what were you sitting on that was better than us?
Well, nothing really. I just hadn't been in a good spot. I think the deer actually come from Jeff's part of the field over to me.
I scared him over there, let's be honest.
So we get in there about 4:30. They drop us off. The first hour, of course, nothing really happens. You know, it's still kind of warm. You can feel that little cool breeze in there, though, man. You know fall is right here, so it's like can't hardly wait. And that first sit, when it being cool, normally in the south from Georgia, that first sit, it's 90 degrees, right? So you really kind of felt like, man, really feels good to be your first set.
It was what, 77 degrees that day?
Yeah, I think that's right. Somewhere in that 70s. And,
felt awesome.
Man, we sitting there and that little breeze blowing through them windows, and it was supposed to be out of the northeast, and it pretty much was. But then as we sit there a little bit, it kind of just died off and got real stagnated. You know how it does in the South sometimes. It just kind of like, when that wind ain't blowing, your scent just goes out there and sits. And the first deer that we would come out, you could tell they kind of could smell a little bit. And then as the evening went on, we had a bunch of does start coming out, and you start getting them noses all over those fields and no wind blowing. You know what happens. So they pretty much blew us out of the set. You know, and you always feel like,
you had multiple deer blowing.
Man. Yes, we did.
And you were in clover.
And going different directions. Yeah, we was in the edge of the clover, and they were going different directions when they was running in the woods. So you're sitting there thinking, man, that's where the buck's supposed to come out of. They're really messing us up. But luck would have it is that we didn't know the deer was going to come from a different direction, which worked out really good. But so they kind of blowed us out. The field kind of emptied. Then they started slowly working their way back in as the later part of the evening come on. And probably about 20 minutes before, well, no, it was probably about 8 o'clock. Shooting light was like 8:30.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked the corner of my eye coming around the field. You barely could see him. He started, you could see one of the bucks that we got a picture of, because basically what they did, they give us a picture, say, you may see, you know, this many deer. So they send us a picture of the deers that we might see, and they give us one picture of one. Look, we really don't want to kill this deer. He's a nice 10-pointer. We feel like he's young enough, and he's got the potential to reach a big deer. So that's the deer you want to pay the most attention to, because the last thing you want to do when you're hunting with somebody else is shoot the deer they don't want you to shoot, right? I mean, that's the most important thing right there. So you got these other 5 to choose from. So I watched the deer come over, and I could tell he was a basic 9-pointer. He had 5 on one side, 4 on the other, and he had that kicker off his base. So
very recognizable. One of his beams swooped up. It's like it didn't grow a beam. It's just G4 swooped up on his right side, I think. So very recognizable deer. And plus the white velvet, I mean, stuck out. Even coming in, I don't know if you saw that clip, Clayton, but it's shining like new money, and it looks just like that in person. It's awesome.
He was beautiful too, coming through that clover, and man, it was just so exciting. You
knew it was
first
him.
hunt of the year.
You knew it was him.
Oh yeah, I knew it was him, but I kept looking at him through the binoculars, and I'm like, I'm gonna double check, triple check, make sure this is the right deer. And he comes in to about 25, 30 yards, and he's eating clover and messing around out there, and I'm watching him the whole time, and I'm like, well, you know, I hope he'll work his way on my way, but of course I wasn't sure. So as he comes on in, the clock's ticking, right? He's slowly moving your way.
8:20?
No, it's probably about 8:10 then, and he comes in, and then he's like at 8:10, he's like facing me, and he won't turn. I mean, he's like he knows I'm there. Well, I'm trying to get in position, right, to shoot, and so I may have made, you know, when you're sitting in a blind, sometimes that noise magnified so much if you even touch anything.
In a redneck blind, 15 feet off the ground, you know, they do like to hunt rednecks early season just because the movement, you got so many does on you, and the scent is the main thing. You can just kind of, you can darken those windows out in the back, and you can really up your odds.
Yeah.
But those jokers are hot when the windows are closed.
Yeah.
But it happened to be pretty cool. I mean, it felt good. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you was sitting in there and sweating or nothing like that. It was one of those fall evenings that you dream of, especially the hot summer that we've had. So I'm gonna have to have a little more room here, because I hadn't shot a bow but one time. Well, I shot a couple of times Monday when we got here, but the day prior is the first time I shot my bow since my surgery. I had surgery back on May 20th. And
he had not shot his bow all year until Sunday, not pulled it back. We're going to Montana in 2 weeks. And I kept telling Dave, use a crossbow. He's over 65. He can use crossbow here. He also had a permit from his doctor just in case there was any issues. But, hey, I'll give it to him. He wanted to shoot a bow. He did not want to switch over to the crossbow. And the day before, my mom sends me a video. He's out there shooting the bow. And I was like, well, did it hurt? No. And
shot it one time.
Shot it one time.
Yeah.
Shot it 6 or 8 times when he got here to camp, down to the hunt barn.
And it's not that I'm that good, but I mean, we all know, you know, once you got your bow set up, it's just something you just do. It's kind of part of your life, right? You just shoot.
Like Field said, he broke his collarbone. He said, picked it up, first shot, was dead on. It's like riding a bicycle, you know?
Oh, yeah.
As you get older, it's not quite that easy, but it is something I love to do. and I want to do, and I dread the day
You're
that I
not
got to
ready
hang
to
it up.
swap over to the X-Bow yet.
No, you know, they get a lot of hate, but I mean, I understand people have to use them, and I was about in that situation, but thankfully I was able to dodge the bullet this time.
Now, did your doctor clear it?
Yeah, he's not technically, his doctor that performed the surgery, it was like, what, 6 months?
9
9 months?
9 months before I shoot
But
my
his
bow.
physical therapist was like, hey, we'll have you ready by Montana. It may be a week before, but we'll have you ready. And Montana, you cannot use a crossbow. They have some type of locking draw aid that you can use, which seems incredibly dangerous, and we weren't going there. So, and the tag's non-refundable. The tag is, you can't swap it till next year. You can't get your money back, whatever. So, and it's hard to draw. It took us 6 years to draw
Yep,
Southeast
6 years.
Montana, and we have looking so forward to going back there. And he didn't decide to officially have the surgery, I think, until like after the application and all that. So maybe not the best planning on our part,
Well,
but it's going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, I had to wait till I got my crops in pretty much. So I scheduled a surgery for May the 20th, which give me, 4 months, 4.5 months maybe for that September 20th to go to Montana. So my goal was September the 19th on shooting my bow. And then Jeff comes up about
Get a good day's
3 weeks
practice.
ago, and Jeff goes, hey, they want you to come to Kentucky with me when I go. And I was like, oh, okay. And he says, but you can shoot your crossbow. So I was like, all right, well, I kind of got that thrown at me, which worked out just perfect, and made sure we could do it because I was waiting as long as I could to pull that bow back the first time. Even though I've been working with weights, and stuff like that to try to build back up, it's just a process of time. It's not something you can just rush overnight.
And he had one of those
At my
draw
age.
strengtheners, it's got the 3 bands. He'd been pulling that back, a month, just slowly easing his way up. And I was worried, I'm sure you were pretty skeptical the first time you're going to draw your bow.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah, I was.
you had a labrum rebuilt, ligaments
Yeah,
rebuilt,
rotator cuff.
pretty much a total shoulder reconstruction. He shoots left-handed. He's not left-handed, but shoots left-handed, dominant, can't see out of his right eye.
So anyway, there I am sitting there, and that buck's out there, and I'm trying to I got to get up and get set to pull, and he would look up there at me, and he was facing me, and this probably went on honestly for 10 minutes, okay? So the clock's ticking.
So he never gave you a shot.
No, he just stood there and looked at me the whole time. And I thought, well, I don't know if he's going to turn or not. Of course, you know how it gets darker, a little darker, and then the blinds are even more
Blinds,
dark.
yes. It's like hunting in the woods when you're in the blind.
Yeah, real dark woods.
No
And
light coming out.
so finally, we're there, and so I'm not going to draw back and hold it, okay? I'm going to wait till he gets in that spot so I'm not stressed so much with my shoulder. And I waited about then. I'm looking at the clock, and it's 8:20. And I'm like, man, it's starting to get dark. It still looked good on the camera because I was watching the camera. The light still looked okay on it. So we keep waiting. Finally, he turns. And then when he turned and I went and drew back and I held him on it, everything was looking good. And when I released, of course, he dropped a little bit, but my Luminoc didn't go off, or didn't happen to go off this time.
Nocturnal, yeah.
Yeah, my nocturnal didn't go off, and he turned and took off, but I could see the arrow sticking out of him. It was not a pass through. I think it hit that off shoulder, or maybe
No, it hit
the
that
rib.
bottom. It hit that bottom rib.
Bottom rib. Yeah, that's right, because that's where the blood was coming out of the bottom one. Anyway, so he took off running. I could see the arrow sticking out of him. It looked good. Of course, you're looking at a little bitty screen. So he ran off in the woods where they thought he was going to come from, and we was all excited, man. I mean, after that right there, it was like, man, first hunt in Kentucky, first set of the year, and I done killed a nice buck, in velvet, full velvet. So I was excited.
Beautiful velvet. Well, yeah, he's like, are you going to come over here? And I was like, I don't know, let me talk to Brandon. And so he's like, no, let's go back, let's look at the footage. And because Dave was sure he hit him, and sure enough, he hit him absolutely perfect, right behind the shoulder. He may have been quartering to him ever so slightly, and it went down at a really good angle, stuck in that kind of the bottom part of that rib, and then bounced back out. Because it looked like when he's running off, like, whoa, why did not get penetration? But he's shooting those big 3-inch heads.
Yeah.
Huge hole. We get over there where he went in the woods. We knew where he went in the woods. Immediately found some blood there, and then real big open timber with, not a lot of places to find blood. So we kind of we got in there. We saw where he went. We just scattered out and took 30 minutes, and we found him. He ran 175 yards total. Honestly, that shot double lung, I can't believe he ran that far. He's a pretty big bodied deer.
Yeah, he did.
But he went far. I mean, perfect shot right out of the gate. And so now, I mean, you've kind of set the bar. You don't need to practice all summer. You just need to pick your bow up the day before the hunt and just go to killing, because that's a perfect shot.
I tell you what, though, it tests your strength when you got a 160-pound buck in the woods and he's got velvet on his horns and you don't want to tear his horns up and you got to tote him out.
Oh,
and not much dragging.
Oh, he's bigger than 160. He was 200 and something probably.
But a big old deer, and the guys helped us get him out.
He weighed 160 field dress, didn't he?
I think it was.
That's what it was.
So it would have probably been 180 something, maybe 190.
Yeah, he was
big deer.
All right, so you're going to be the first one to shoot in Montana now, too? Is that how this season's going to go? Is it David's year? After all that hard hunting for Pretty Boy last year, I think it's your turn for a good season, David.
Hey, that's what I said. Good Lord bless me, right?
Yeah.
I was able to put somebody on deer last year and then come right here and they put me on one real quick. So that worked out really good.
Yeah, and he got back. He's like, man, it was fairly dark. And it was dark, but it wasn't. I mean, he had 5 minutes of shooting light left. And I was like, no. Out here hunting with these guys, you're only going to get so many opportunities, especially early season, because had that deer still been there, you'd had to wait on somebody to come in there and pick you up and all that. You get a deer like that, if you can see your pins, you can make an ethical shot, you're going to shoot.
I think the one thing that helped me, it was dark. I had 9 minutes of shooting light left because it was 8:21. And I was watching it because my phone, I lay it right there and I'll just touch it and see what the time is, as I go along. And when I looked through my magnified peep, because I shoot a magnified peep, when I looked through it, I could see my sight better than just looking at it at the dark. Mm-hmm. So I think that really helped and contributed a lot to that.
All right, note to all you listeners out there.
Right out of the gate, it was crazy. I hunted last night, and we don't hunt mornings here. That's just one of those. We did go shoot some dove yesterday. We shot a limit of dove yesterday morning. The sunflower field they shot opening day was absolutely loaded. We went out there at 8, shot a limit, was done at 9. And yesterday afternoon was slow for me. We hunted kind of in the edge of some woods, the edge of some big timber, deer coming into the neck of a field, of a bean field. And we had a light variable wind. It was not consistent. The weatherman kind of did us wrong. And right about the last hour before dark, when it really got good, our scent was getting drawn into that bottom. Where we're hunting here has big hollers. And those does coming up through there, they told on us. And we knew it wasn't going to happen. But the highlight of my hunt yesterday was when I got into the stand. And I think I sent you this video, Clayton, but when I got into the stand yesterday, we were hunting about 30 foot up in this double cedar, and I looked down at my phone and I was like, there's a seed tick crawling on my phone. I was like, oh my gosh. I knew I didn't brush up against anything, because that's all these dudes talk about up here is watch out for the creepy crawlies. They have so many ticks here. And I was like, I know I didn't touch anything. And it's like, Cole, we might have a problem. I ran my hand across the leg, and it just kept like 100 ticks at a time, and I just I should have taken my pants off, hunted in my boxers, and dropped my pants to the bottom of the tree. I wish I would have done that. I'm paying for it now. I have hundreds of tick bites on me, and that's a terrible feeling. Honestly, maybe I should have just got down and went home and taken a shower, because it was that bad. They were nowhere on my upper body, just my legs, and it made for a long night last night. I came back, I took an alcohol bath. I still didn't get them all off, and I just got little whelps all over me that itch a lot. Y'all can probably keep seeing me move my hand down to my leg here, but
that's what happened to me Sunday.
Nightmare fuel, and it's just, I still do not know. And Cole had them too. We didn't touch anything. We walked out, and I was like, this is the path we walked. What did we touch? And all I can think of is there had to be, whatever we touched, there's like, 10,000 seed ticks just waiting on something to touch them, So
just one nest. That's why I texted you Sunday. I was like, you better bring your tick spray, buddy, because I had that same thing happen to me Sunday when I was over in Ohio getting stuff ready. I was setting this rope scrape up, and I looked down at my pants, and I'm like, why do my pants look really frayed up? I rub my hand on it, same thing, just 100 of them crawling on my hand. Because where I was at, I had to walk through a bunch of brush because the road wasn't cleared to drive. So I hightailed it back to the UTV where my dad was sitting. I said, that's it, we're done. Luckily, I had a buddy 2 miles up the road. We went up the road. He wasn't there, so I was out in his yard in my underwear, hosing myself off. I got all my clothes off as quick as possible and hosed off as quick as possible, and I still haven't found one stuck to me yet. So if y'all run into a pile of seed ticks, I scraped my pants off right then and there, and then I got my pants off and hosed off as soon as I could. So I don't.
Well, you know, so many people that I got alpha gal and even a few that's got Lyme disease. I didn't really want to spray the tick spray all over me, knowing that, you know, the scent and all that. But looking back, I should have, I guess, man. But that is probably one of the worst feelings in the world. Hopping up in a stand and then realizing you have thousands of seed ticks on you, and you have to sit there for the next 3 hours knowing they are going to traverse all over your body and get attached. And
Makes for a long evening.
very long evening, and I mean, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. So,
Meanwhile, David was sitting on a lazy boy watching TV.
oh, he was shooting does. Well, he was shooting does in another spot, and I think he said he went to draw back, and it felt real sore, so he didn't do it. He didn't push it, so which was very smart. That was the main thing I was trying to tell him. Like, Dad, don't let, you know, the fear of not being able to shoot your bow make you do something stupid, you know, and hurt yourself. You've worked too hard to get to this point. And he didn't. I don't think he's lying to me. His shoulder is all right.
Yeah, pretty good. It's got a little sore spot in it.
He's going to have to just take it easy
That's
between
okay.
now and Montana, keep building up before then. Yeah. But it's a heck of a hunt camp here they put on, man. It's just some good old boys, good Northern Kentucky guys. And I've been very fortunate enough that they've invited me back. This is my 3rd year in a row. And then when Austin texted me a couple months ago, he's like, man, we need to get your dad there. I'm like, oh, yeah. If you really want him to come, let me know, and I'll say something, because he'll probably ride up there with me. And sure enough, we got here, and I've told him how awesome of a place it is. They have the habitat set up. I mean, the farm is immaculate with the clover plots, the bean plots, ton of native grass, ton of, you know, turkey habitat, fall and rearing habitat, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful farm. They kind of got a few scattered pieces around. They got a hunt barn right here out this window, and we're staying in one of the old farmhouses right here that is just incredible. It's an awesome place. I sent pictures to my wife. She's very jealous. She wants to come up here.
Don't do that. That's a bad idea, buddy.
I know. I told her the last couple of years I was in a tent, and so I eventually sent her a picture. Nah, she knows better than that. But it's been a good time, and I'm gonna stick it out. You know, I'm at least gonna hunt a couple more afternoons. Georgia opens this Saturday, and we have a ton of deer daylighting up there. This is probably one of our best years. It's the best year that Cole's been on the farm, and this is year 3 or 4 for him. And you know, we feed year-round protein, the big-time protein. We've had a lot of luck with it, but this year with all the rain, they are looking really good. And I'm not saying we got any, you know, mega giant deer in Georgia. We got no, you know, double drop tine. What was his name?
Mr. Mumbles.
Mr. Mumbles. We don't have any Mr. Mumbles, but we got a lot of
shooters.
solid deer. A lot of deer that need to be shot, and a lot of them are daylight now. So we want to be home back in Georgia to hunt Saturday afternoon. That's the goal. So I'm hoping I can get it done here the next couple of nights. I really want to be in Georgia. The sawtooths are falling. Like we talked about last week, I'm not a morning hunting person, early season morning person, but if we're hunting what we call that main event, that big funnel between the sawtooths and the bedding, we're going to be there Saturday morning, and it could be good. I mean, our deer are pretty much all shed. We were just talking with Cole. I think we're 95% of our bucks have shed in Georgia. You know, the occasional spike or 6-pointer is going to hold it till mid-September. And Iowa's what? We're all shed out there?
About like the same as Georgia.
Iowa and Illinois,
little ones,
I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen a mature deer in Iowa or Georgia that still had velvet on him. So that's kind of the state of it. That's what we're looking to get into this weekend, and I'm going to hunt Georgia as hard as I can. I got a lot of work to catch up on when I get back there, but Dave's got to get back to Iowa and probably top dress a few food plots that you're kind of worried about. We've had rain all summer, and then boom, it just
dries up, buddy.
We're going to try to plant our Georgia plots. We're going to start disking them up next week. That's what Cole wants to do. That's kind of his plan. And then I think we're going to wait and plant the last week of September when me and him get back from Montana. That's the goal. We got all our seed ready. We got a field or two of alfalfa we want to put into. So that's kind of the goal. We'll wait and see what happens. But between now and Montana, man, I'm going to try to be locked into Georgia. I'm not going to get to hunt a ton of mornings with the kids in school and all that, but unless it's cool. If it's cool, Ashley, you got to take the kids this morning, and I get that east wind, I'm headed in the main event, because that is some of the most magical hunts of the year. So I'm looking forward to that. A lot of people got some really big deer on camera in Georgia this year. They're kicking it off this weekend, and looking forward to that. I'm not sure what other states open this weekend, but
Yeah.
I kind of got tunnel vision on Georgia right now.
So what I'm hearing is we got in the South, we got the Sawtooth Oaks, they're dropping. That's the last couple of days, that's been good. That'll be good into the next couple of weeks, I'm guessing, or even longer. Your northern states, I think your clover's probably going to, the deer will consistently hit that through the month of September. But if you're hunting those bean fields, depending on when they were planted, in states like Iowa, Kentucky, pretty much any of those Midwest states, you got probably a couple weeks before they start turning yellow and the deer start switching patterns, wouldn't you say?
They're still on the beans hard here. Yeah, they're still on the beans in Iowa. It's been really good. Georgia's a little different. Iowa and Illinois, we're doing all of our green food plots, hoping that the first couple of weeks of October, that's what we're going to be keying on. In Georgia, we don't have any green plots that we're hunting over other than clover, alfalfa. We're not putting our green plots in until end of September. We're not going to deal with armyworms. It's just too dry right now. We're going to wait and see when we can throw them in based off of what, stingy October rains we can get in the forecast. But they do have acorns here, but it's no competition yet. They're pounding the clover, they're pounding their feed sites, and that's what I'm going to continue to hunt near the next couple of days. But as we get into Georgia, 100% clover fields or sawtooth oaks. Like I said last week, there is nothing better than sawtooth oaks right now. So if you don't have sawtooth oaks,
Get you some.
Plant some, man. You'll have acorns in 4 or 5 years, 3 or 4 years. They're that quick.
Yeah. Depending on where you plant it from, but a buddy of mine, he took him 5 years to start getting them little acorn sawtooth oaks, and man, he's loving it too.
Yep. So what we forecasted last week, a lot of that, I think it hit pretty much as we called it. Some of those deer, testosterone levels going up, shedding velvet. You get that cooler weather. They expanded their territory a little bit. What I'm seeing with the weather the next week is pretty much back to status quo, pretty warm.
Yeah, it's early season. I don't see any fronts that's getting me excited, unlike when we talked last week.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going to be just, you got to hope a deer is pretty hungry to get out before dark or unpressured, Like we said last week, unpressured deer are your friend early season. I know that's not always something you can help, but just be smart. Just hunt smart these first few weeks of September. Or else you're gonna be mad at yourself. You're gonna be kicking yourself in the fanny and not expect to see that deer in daylight till November.
Yeah, when the rut gets him. You don't just because you can hunt doesn't mean you should hunt.
Right, yeah. There's places you can, try to find a spot to go shoot a doe or something. If you just got to go and the wind's not right, or you want to go in the morning, I'll always tell people to go hunting anytime you can. You can't wait for the perfect scenario, but maybe have a couple other permission pieces or something, or a part of your farm that won't mess anything up. Just somewhere you can go to scratch that itch, climb up in a tree, maybe shoot a doe, or just be out with nature, watch the sunrise, see the squirrels moving some acorns around, but just be careful. If you got a big buck on camera or where he's at, just hunt him smart.
Yeah. All right, well, we hit Kentucky, Iowa, Illinois, the South.
Indiana, we're right across the Ohio River right here from Indiana. He said he's all shed out there. They don't open until like we do in Iowa and Illinois, 1st of October, but it's looking good over there. But it's so funny, like I can look out the front door and you can almost see Indiana, but it's 6 miles as the crow flies, but to get all the way around there, it's like right at an hour because you got to go down to where the bridge is.
Yeah.
But it's a different world once you cross that Ohio River. Over here, it's like high deer density, cattle country, horse country. You cross that river, man, you got bottomlands and rolling hardwoods. It looks a little more like Iowa, so it's a different world. To me, right here, it's like Kentucky and Indiana, and I don't know what you see over on your side, but it's like where the southern deer meet the northern deer. You know what I mean? That river is what does it.
100%.
And I know geographically that's kind of how it looks, but I don't know what the correct terminology is, but that's the way it feels in my mind's eye.
Well, so where we're at, once you get up in that Cincinnati area, I mean, you're literally right there. They call it the tri-state area. You got Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana. And once you cross that river, the bodies just get bigger.
Right. Yes, exactly what he said. He says 20, 30-pound jump.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. And I know, and they do have some deer swim the river, but not many, because they have farm on both sides of it, so they would know. But
yeah. I will say this. We were talking, David, you were talking about the wind settles in the evening. That's what you had happening, and it's swirling all around in that field. So that same night, Monday night, I was hunting, and I knew that was going to happen with the wind. So instead of sitting in my box blind, I don't recommend pushing far into the woods, but I got just off the field into the woods because it was about 40 yards inside where the hill starts to drop off, and I was able to use that downhill slope to use the thermals to my advantage that last hour and a half. So that instead of my wind sitting there and swirling around, it was falling off the back of that hill where deer weren't going to go back behind me. So that is one thing guys can do if it's a low variable wind day. You can try to use that for the thermals to your advantage later in the evening when those deer are up.
As long as that's not what we're coming from, that's kind of what the deer are coming from. That got us on a bind last night. But you had a little steadier, stiffer wind Friday or Saturday and Sunday, didn't you?
Saturday not as much. Sunday we did.
Yeah.
And so we logged all those cedars. A lot of those cedars, they're not going through that this time of year, so they weren't coming from below me or behind me. So like I said, I was able to use that thermal to my advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing busted me. And I don't like shoving product down people's throat, but I had the way the stand is set up, I had to cut through where I knew deer were going to cross my path because there's no way to come up from behind the stand because all those cedars. And right 40 yards before I cut into the woods, I lubed up with Evercalm and I walked through there. Dude, I had no less than 5 deer just walk back and forth across where I walked in. Not one
I believe
of
it,
them stopped.
Evercalm is legit. That's not. I don't
it's
not
get
pushing
it.
a product if it works and you truly believe it.
Yeah, it was nuts. I was just watching. I'm like waiting. And there's this old doe. I know she's 7 or 8 years old. She stood there and fed on the exact trail I walked in for a good 10, 15 minutes. Not once was she bothered.
Yeah, one thing I kind of left off after we got blown out that first time, I closed my windows. I love to leave the window. I got a camera rolling, and I got 2 windows. I'm going to have to shoot out of one window. I got a camera rolling. I don't like to keep all the windows shut all the time just because you know how them little clips on them rednecks, they'll snap and slip off your finger if you're not careful. So I just try to eliminate as many obstacles as I'm going to have to deal with when that deer comes in, So anyway, we closed the windows up, and hopefully it appeared that maybe that might have helped some. I don't know if the wind picked back up after that or not. It didn't appear to, so I think that helped us a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we're probably getting in a redneck tonight. That's just the way this wind is. We got a deer that's pretty consistent, so he's been out there the last 2 nights in a row. So if he's not out there tonight, it's just because I stink and I'm a terrible hunter. But we'll keep you updated next week on that.
Or you quit early because you got too many ticks again.
Oh gosh, no. We went over there. We had to go check that blind out, spray a wasp nest, and check that camera, and then put some blinds in the back of that window. We went over there before lunch, and there's a path to it. You didn't have to touch any bushes. So if I'm getting a tick, it's coming up off the ground. But I can't deal with that again tonight. But dude, good luck. I don't guess you're hunting for next week, but we will be. So we will come back to you guys a week from today. Every Wednesday, we're going to try to do this all deer season. So please leave us a feedback. Hit us up. Share it on social media. We appreciate it, and we look forward to it. And everybody stay safe. Wear your safety harness. And we'll see y'all next week.